In this video, we'll be discussing insurance, which types of policies are required to legally broker freight, as well as some types of coverage that may not be required, but should definitely be heavily considered. I'm Benjamin Kowalski with Freight 360, where we provide the latest transportation sales tips and training videos to help you reach your goals faster. If you're new here, make sure you go ahead and hit the subscribe button, and all of the links and details will be found in the description box below. And for more free information, we've recently covered this topic in much greater detail on our podcast, Freight 360. Now let's jump into it. Let's be honest, insurance isn't exactly the most, exciting topic, but it's an important one. So before we begin, let's talk about what insurance is and why we have it. Insurance is something people purchase to protect themselves from losing money. And for a small fee or premium, if something bad does occur, we receive a larger sum of money to offset that loss. That's probably not news to anybody. Now, insurance folks refer to this as offsetting your exposure, which means that you are literally reducing the portion of your business's exposure to a specified risk. And those specified risks are outlined in the contract you signed for your policy. They're very detailed and they're very specific, which is why you should be using an insurance agent with industry experience and knowledge. Our first topic, freight broker bonds. The FMCSA requires all freight brokers to have either a freight broker trust fund or a freight broker bond in the amount of $75,000. While a surety bond isn't technically an insurance policy, they are generally sold through insurance agents and are usually grouped together. The surety bond exists to ensure that you live up to your word and your obligations. So when you enter into a contract with a carrier for a load, and maybe you don't pay that carrier can file a claim against that surety bond and be awarded payment. And then you, the broker, are responsible for paying that amount of money back. These bonds are renewed annually and can cost anywhere from $1,000 to $5,000 per year. Our next topic, general liability. A general liability policy helps cover costs for items such as bodily injury, property damage, and contractual obligations. The policy covers those costs incurred by the broker though, not the carrier. While this policy is not legally required by the FMCSA, it will often be a requirement of your customers and your shippers. Which brings us to primary cargo. Freight brokers cannot hold a primary auto liability policy since they don't own assets, but they can hold a primary cargo insurance policy. Primary cargo policies can be written to include or exclude almost anything. So it's crucial to work with your insurance agent to create a policy that limits your risks that you actually want protected against. It's even a good idea to ask your agent what your policy doesn't cover. This is a great way to understand your exclusions before you ever have a claim, because once that claim's filed, it's much too late. On our recent podcast, we discussed some creative solutions within the industry. There are some industry-leading policies now with end-to-end coverage, such as combined transportation and supply chain coverage. This policy was created to protect against other policy exclusions, such as improper trailer temps, broken seals, breach of contract, and even cyber attacks. Check out the links for more information below. Now, regardless of how long you've been in business or the size of your company, insurance is vital. You're better off protecting yourself before a problem arises or a claim is filed, because if that happens, it's much too late to haggle over your coverage language in the contract. So the next time you speak with your insurance provider, take some time to really understand your coverage and what you'll be responsible for. For more information on our insurance partners and affiliates, please check out the links in the comments below. And remember, whether you believe you can or believe you can't, you're right.